persona estoy súper emocionada de presentarla porque nosotras dos tenemos un path muy parecido. Tanya Butenko is originally from Ukraine, but is living right now in Australia. And similarly to me, she didn't start off with a CS degree, with a computer programming background. Similarly to me, Tanya did a lot of things before kind of coming into programming. Similarly to me, we're both very happy programming. Tanya is a leader at Muses Code JS, which is in Australia. They teach women how to code, support women in technical roles, and she's going to come talk to us a beautiful, beautiful talk about the way that communities can change people. So enjoy. Give a big round of applause. Tanya Butenko.
Hear me? Yeah, I think so. First of all, I want to say a big thank you. I really love being here in Colombia. Thank you for inviting me. And before I start, I also want to make a small disclaimer. Good. English is not my native language, as for most of you. And every time when I'm nervous, I kind of tend to have a words parasites. So it's a word that you can kind repeating all the time. So please keep an eye on these words. And if you spot any of them, come after talk and tell me. I would really, really, really appreciate it. Okay. So Muses Code JS, or how communities change people. That is the thing that I will be talking today. But at the beginning, I would like to say a few words about me. Who is Tanya Butenko? Well, that's me, right? Look there. Today I'm sitting here in Colombia on a big stage on a technical conference and talking about communities and tech world. And I'm also working as a software engineer, as a full-stack JavaScript developer. Right now I'm in between of the works, between of the jobs, but if you come to me like 4.5 years ago and tell me what I will be doing today, I would have been laughing. Why? Because I never been a developer before that. I never coded in my life before like 4.5 years ago. What I've been doing, I had my degree in linguistics, so I've been working as a teacher of literature. I've been working as an interpreter. Then I changed my career and I started working in a business, so I've been doing management, business coordination. But coding, I was like, no, coding is not for me. Like coding, I'm a person who likes to talk to people. And my husband is a software engineer. So he sits like every day in computer and like some kind of metrics happening up there. When he wants to talk to me, he just like texts me on mobile phone, on computer. And I look at him and I was like, coding? No, never. But what changed? So around 4.5 years ago, when it was like our second year in Australia, you're moving to a new country, you don't really know much of people, so it takes a time to establish a really good friendships and connections. The place I was working as a manager was like not really a friendly environment as well, and so most of the evenings, and we were making much of the money up there at that time, so most of the evenings I was like coming back home and spending like it at home. And one day I came to my husband and said, okay, you were telling me about all this coding stuff, programming, and I'm so bored now that I actually need some kind of challenge. So show me what you have. He was smart. He knew that I like video games, and he gave me a game called Lightboard 2. So you have to move like a little block around the screen with code, with like basic JavaScript things, and it gives you introduction to coding and logic. And oh my God, I get so hooked. I start playing, in a few hours I come back to him and say like, oh my God, I love it, like give me more. I want to do more. And he said, oh, it's many levels up there. I was like, yeah, I know, I need more, I finished, I'm done. So when I saw it, coding was a game, and you play this game. You have a goal, like in any game. You have a tools to pass the levels, right? Like to accomplish your tasks. you like really have kind of reward in the end, right? You're getting happy that you accomplish it. And like in a coding, it's like normally a green tick with a test, right? So yeah, I started playing that game a while ago, and I play it till nowadays. But interesting thing is that not having that much fun and having like adopting coding as my hobby kind of things, it did not make me, it did not push me to change my career and make my decision in the life to like completely and cardinally change my like everything what I've been doing. But communities did. Of course, when I start coding like pretty much every day after I was coming back from my management position role, it was a lot of fun, but slowly I decided, okay, I will go and check. Maybe I will change my career. But everything I saw online, it was like a jobs. You need to have a computer science degree. You need to have like 5+ years of education, of experience, sorry. And I didn't have either of those. So I was like, yeah, well, okay, it will just stay my hobby kind of thing, and I like it, and I can do a lot of things, so no restrictions, no one tells me what to do, I just do what I want. But of course, my husband started introducing me to communities, tech communities, and as a beginner in something, I was so hungry for knowledge that I was going to different types of communities, I was going on different types of events. So I did try like C++, I tried C#, I tried Ruby, I tried JavaScript, I tried Haskell, I tried Python, so you name it, Scala, and so on and so on. So I've been going to whatever communities I could, like whatever meetups I could find, and tried like a bunch of different things. But very interesting that JavaScript community was most welcoming for beginners. It was even like it was pretty much the same everywhere. It was only guys up there. I was probably when I went for my Node meetup in Sydney, I was the only woman for 90 guys. That was fun, and they thought that I'm a recruiter. Well. That's how normally it happened. It used to happen. But anyways, JavaScript community was like really welcoming, and people were really supportive. And when they were finding out that I'm learning coding by myself and that I'm quite interested and keen in coding, they were like willing to give me some information, share information about other communities, and so on and so on. And it was really supportive, and people were really supportive, and they told me, you know, if like with the things that you already know, you can actually go and get a job as a junior developer. And going on these different meetups and having all the support helped me to make this kind of like decision to change my career. And to mention women communities in Australia at that time, so around 4 years ago, unfortunately we had only women who code in Sydney, specifically women who code, Girls Geek Dinner, and Rails Girls were just starting at that time. Yeah, and they were like really practical and really interesting for me because most of other meetups were mainly different talks. And as for junior developers like coming up, I was not always understanding like what they're talking about. But the practical was like really cool because I could come on the workshop, I could do something, like all the code is staying on my machine, instructions and so on, and to contact with the people who were mentoring. And then I could easily go back home and keep coding by myself. And it was really great. But as I said, it was not that many of those kind of things that time. Okay, so today I will talk about communities as you get it, and I will talk about what communities are, why do we need even bother about the community stuff, like why do we need that, and how to be involved, and how to help. Okay, so what is community? Well, I got the statement from somewhere like a Wikipedia or something like that. Community is a condition of sharing or having certain attitudes and interests in common. And indeed. So community does not mean that you have to be in the same place with the people to be a community. Community is when you are sharing things, when you're sharing the same interests. So you can be, for example, a JavaScript community. JavaScript community, it's a people all around the world because we do share the same kind of attitude and interests and like a point of view about the things, even when we are different. And what is Muses Code JS? So as in introduction was said, I'm a founder of Muses Code JS, and it's a non-for-profit organization in Australia that operates all around Australia and outside of it. We run different types of events for anyone who identifies as women, and for other gender minorities as well, gender minorities in tech world. So we do like a lot of different things, and not only technical workshops, but also support for a lot of support for beginners. We also not female-only events. We welcome in guys always as well, but we do try like to keep the balance and ask them to bring a woman with them. It works. So, okay. So how everything like began? Like where did we start? 2 years ago, 2016, 9th of July, I hold the first event in Sydney. It was named like Node Workshop, and it was kind of in conjunction of Women Who Code and Node School, because on that time I've been co-organizer of both of these organizations, and before I started Muses Code JS, I've been helping with a lot of different events, like technical events around Australia. I also been organizing one of the first NASA hackathon in Sydney, yeah, so I kind of already on that time had like a lot of experience of working with community. And of course, like when I just started, I wanted to call the organization NodeGirls, and that was the name that we had till this year. Because that time it was no community for women where you could go and learn JavaScript. And in Sydney already we had like Python ladies, Django girls, Rails girls, and like a bunch of other ones, but nothing for JavaScript. And then you ask like, why? JavaScript is like so widely used. It's like everywhere. And the demand is just like massive for JavaScript developers, right? And of course, like nowadays in Australia, and not only, people talk about diversity and they want to have like more diverse people working in the companies. So they kind of really on a big hunt in Australia for women developers, JavaScript developers. And then you go and you find none. And for me, it was a big question why there is no community like that. And I decided to like do events that are specifically for JavaScript. And of course, no one knew kind of what NodeGirls is, and that's why like I decided to make an event, Node School with Women Who Code. And in Australia, we have this kind of a problem that when you do a free event for people, they tend to not show. And of course, in Sydney is like a massive city, and it's always like a lot of people register, but always like maybe 50% show up. And having that in mind, holding the events before that, I kind of was prepared for that. And of course, we had way more registration spots open, knowing that we will get like an amount of people that we plan. But surprise, surprise, on the day we had 124 women coming for the workshop. Yeah, that was scary. And since then, like every single event that we run in Sydney has at least 120 women on the day, plus mentors, of course. Yeah, other cities that we run at the moment, some of them has like 100 plus. It really depends. We do have a huge demand, but it really depends on venues that we are like renting for the workshop. Yeah, and about the name NodeGirls and why we changed it, it will be a bit later. So that was our beginning. So what happens now? Like I will be talking specifically about Australia, but to make it a bit clear, NodeGirls also operate in UK, in Japan, but they're not really active. And well, hopefully soon we'll like open new chapters in North and South America. Okay, so about Australia. In these 2.5 years, we grew up to 4 cities in Australia. It's Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and Perth. Each year, we hold 50 plus events in Australia. We have more than 6,000 followers in Australia, and like 95% of them is women. We have more than 500 mentors that are coming and helping us like on each of our events. And we have 3 internship positions. Internship positions, like I put in the end because it's really interesting moment that we are doing. We started it last year, and we are trying to increase amount of women in programming. And we are talking with different companies and trying to get the internship position for women who does not have any computer science degree, who did not go to like General Assembly or Code Factory, like academies where you can, like in a fast-paced environment, you learn to code. Why? Because not all of these women has like that much money and at the same time, like a lot of women already have kids and they want to change their career and they simply cannot like abandon everything and go to like really fast pace course for 3 months or something and of course put a bit like of money up there. So at the moment we have 3 internship positions like working and we have way more opening next year. Okay, and so what about the future of organization? Well, we are going to rule the world, so join us. We also, yeah, we are spreading like around, and you can see that we have like such a huge amount of people coming up. If we had a bigger venues, we would probably have a bigger numbers on every single event as well, and sponsorship, of course. Another thing that we're always looking forward is innovative approach. When you have a you need to know your auditory like that you are targeting, right? And if you want to show to women that coding is fun, like I just discovered by myself, and that coding or being a developer is not a male job. It's just a job. A job is a job. There is no kind of man job, woman job. That's what we want to show them. And when you want to attract this kind of auditory with women who think that coding is not that much fun and who does not even consider of trying to code, you kind of need to be a little bit innovative to be able to target them and to bring this message to them. Just to show that, yeah, just go and try. It doesn't mean that we want all women to be developers, no. We just want to show that it's fine, it's okay. Why? Because even for next generations, when the parents understand, when the mom understands that her daughter should have an option of going and choosing whatever she wants, it's already a huge success. And the last thing is educational platform. So we do have like a big plans about educational platform because we do write our own workshops like for JavaScript. And in the future, I think it will be quite a lot of fun to have something maybe on Electron.js when like people who does not know anything about code, they can just download the program and have some kind of workshop that will be working in one environment for them. But it's still in the progress. If you want to help, come and talk to me after. Okay, so why do we need it? And why do we need communities? And I'm talking about communities in general and like diverse communities as well. A bit of disclaimer, all the photos that you will see in my presentations, it's the photos from our events and from our members. Okay, before I start, I want to I forgot the word in English, but it's okay. I just want to read the phrase that one anthropologist said, Margaret Mead, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. So what it means that, when someone is starting something, someone think like, why do we need the community stuff? Like, why do I need to go there? Why do I need to talk to people? And when you don't like something about community, about the language, about the things, many people think that I'm the only one. I'm against of all the of the rest of the community, and my opinion is not really popular. The thing is, it's not true. Like, even one person can change the things. Because if you think this way, it means that there's definitely some people out there who think the same way like you do. You just need to find them and make like a community thing and start working on it. Okay, so what our community help to do, we help to self-grow our women. As I said, like everything what I'm telling is an example of my own organization, but it really relates to any community out there. And I want to show you a few members of our community. Karen from Melbourne, she used to be a counter, now she's a software engineer. Leah from Sydney, she used to be a recruiter, now she's a software engineer, and also Muses co-organizer in Sydney. Jen and Alex from Sydney, they used to work in catering, no education, they just finished like mid-school, now they're software engineers. Rachel from Brisbane and Perth. So she used to be, she is a recruiter, but I'm very sure that we are taking her to the dark side very soon. She is really interested in coding. really passionate about coding, and she joined our team and started and facilitated the first event in Perth that had like more than 100 attendees as well. Next one, Anvesha from Brisbane. Now she's in Melbourne. This young girl contacted me like a year ago. She's an amazing personality, but very, very shy. Well, she was like a junior software engineer at that time. Now she is running our chapters in Brisbane and Melbourne. She also speaks on international conferences. And yeah, doing a really big success. So we did help her to self-grow. And, oh, Jesus, okay, sorry. And one more thing, this like yellow dot is always trying to remind me one thing, but I always forget. For all the things that you've been doing, she also received a tech community champion award in Queensland this year. Shaila, a mother of 3, she's a software engineer now and also co-organizer of our Sydney chapter. Jaden and Pri, it is our first 2 interns. So Jaden used to be a pharmacist, and Pri used to be a teacher, like small kids. So they are both software engineers now in a company that like monitors global internet traffic for DDoS attacks. Interesting. We also help to give confidence to our women. We always say that you cannot be what you cannot see, and that's why we do it on our events. We do encourage women to step up and give talks, even like what I'm doing today here. And all these amazing girls that you can see up there were giving talks on different events. And the interesting thing is like many of them were never given a talk before, and some of them were not even being developers before. We also give opportunity to share the knowledge, and I think it is really important because community, it is relations. It is the same like a marriage. It's not only one-way road, it's like a two-way road. You not only take something from community, like we are coming for meetups and we are listening for the talks, but we also need to give back. Because if you don't give back, community will die. Because you cannot just ask from the same people all the time, over and over, come for different meetups, different events, and give talks. You want to have different people up there. And that's why like you should be sharing the knowledge and having a courage like coming up and talking about the things. And just even like have a conversation with people around, right? It's like also sharing the knowledge. And trust me, it feels great. On the photo you can see it's like a bunch of our mentors. Of course, it's not all the photos, but just like a few. It's also a great way to network and socialize. And this is like a few slides from events that we are holding in Australia. Okay, are you excited? Yes. Awesome. So how you can give back, right? Now is the main question. Well, first of all, what I would say, how I was doing when I was starting, go around and check what kind of communities, events, or workshops are already in your area, in your country, or even maybe outside of the country. So you can easily contact 2 organizers and say, hey, I want to do things, I want to come and help you, or I want to start a new chapter in my city, or I want to start a new chapter in my country. And this is a great way to start. But of course, it's not always possible, and sometimes you will see that there is no organization, there is no meetup, there is no workshops like of your specific interest. So in this case, just do it. Another way how you can contribute is mentorship and coaching. Have any one of you been mentoring before on any workshops? Yeah, quite a few. Nice. Mentoring, you can, again, look up on different workshops and meetups that are running around and check, do they need mentors? Do they need a person who will come? You will just like need to come on the day and help them to code. And another thing is coaching. Coaching is, if you're not really a goer on much of meetups, you can still help, and at your working place, you definitely should have some developers who are a bit junior than you, and you always can go and see if this person needs help. Internship programs, the ones that I was talking, as for example, but you also can go and talk in your company if your company is taking graduates or if they already run some kind of internship program. If not, you can contact with different organizations who support this kind of programs and see the way how you can help and how you can connect people. And even maybe you can help to write some kind of a roadmap for a junior developer who will be joining this program. Well, and then you say, well, I'm not really a social person and I don't really go anywhere, so, but I still want to help. Well, it's a lot of help that you can do online. You can, again, contact the organizers, contact the community and ask them how you can help. Sometimes even just maintaining some kind of Slack channel or Discord channel and answering the people's question can be of a really big help. Sometimes it may be a help with a website, maybe it's a help with social media stuff and just like tweeting and using Facebook, Instagram, and so on. And the last bit of the talk will be about how to attract more diverse auditory. Okay, so impression is like something that is the most important. Why? It's like every time when we even see the person, the first impression is really important. And a part of this impression is a name. So the reason why we changed the name from NodeGirls to Muses Code JS is, first of all, we really wanted to get rid of both of the parts of the word. The Node one, because we are doing workshops not only about the Node.js, but we also run different type of workshops JavaScript related, and not only. And the reason why we wanted to move away from the girls part is to make the name of organization more inclusive, not only about the age, but also about the gender, and also to get rid of this belittling meaning of the word girls. Okay, advertisement and the language. So I guess many of you know that, when you make even an advertisement and you say that we are doing this workshop for women, for like rock star women, it's like, or like a ninja women, like, really? No, doesn't work this way. So be really careful about the language that you are using in your advertisement for your event. Think about it. That's why it's always really great to have a few people in an organization team, of different gender and nationality, age, and so on. Because in this way you can think more diverse, even about how you phrase your advertisement. Personalities. So every event, every community has its personality. And first of all, it's really important to create a safe environment so people know that it's okay to come there, it's okay to ask questions. There is no stupid questions, even when there is sometimes, but we tend to tell people there is no stupid questions because they want to be feeling safe to ask these questions, to learn and to share and to come back again and to try new things. Also, event personalities, that is one of the things that we are doing with Muses. For each event, we are bringing a woman speaker that is invited guest, and they're not a software engineer. So we've been bringing a women from sports. We've been bringing a women DJing. Next ones we are bringing scientists and so on and so on. So this is a great way to give kind of personality and the topic to your event because in the end we just do all of it to have fun, right? And interesting moment is about organizers and announcers. What we noticed with our events is when I started doing and helping with events, we got a really big amount of women Russian speakers coming to different events, and that was really rare for Sydney. When I sent, when we had second event, I sent one of our organizers, she's Indian, to make announcement about the event. Surprise, surprise, we had more Indian women coming for the day. And with this way, you can see that if your organizers and announcers are quite diverse and coming, people see it and they feel kind of safer to come because they associate them with a person who is making an announcement. And of course, I could not make all of it happen till nowadays without my amazing team around Australia. And right there in the middle, it's Rina. Yeah, Rina. So the first event I was organizing completely by myself, and starting from the next event, she was joining me and helping me so much. And one of the last things is involvement. like having a hands-on workshops, as I was mentioning in the beginning, is really interesting and it's a really great way to create events for junior developers. Also, interaction is really important when people are writing to your organization and asking the question. Come back to them and write them back, because when in Australia I was writing to many organizations and saying, like, how can I help? Normally I either never received the answer or maybe like in a few weeks or in a month and so on. Well, networking time is always good to have. Always stay in touch after the event to follow up, to give the contact maybe where they can, whom they can talk to after the event if they have questions. And always ask for feedback, because we don't know what we don't know. And last but not least is the food. So I guess everyone likes to eat good food. And when you're coming for an event, think about diversity in the food as well. Because it's not a big number of people, but still there is some people who has a different allergies and like food requirements. So keep it in mind. And to finish my talk, I just want to say that, like coding is a big power. It is a power of creation and innovation. And of course, like with any big power, it comes a big responsibility. And we have, as developers now, we do have a responsibility in front of the future generations of developers and the future communities and how it will be shaped. What kind of environment we will have there? Will it be diverse and friendly or not? So it really depends on us. And thank you, and stay in touch. You can reach me on all these channels, or come and talk to me after the talk. I will be still around. Okay, thank you very much.